everyone, welcome to this tutorial. What we're going to have a look at this point is my finished logo here. It is in color. I want to give out a variation in grayscales or black and white if necessary to my client as well as this variation here. And also I want to look at sending out my image with a transparent background, and at the moment I've got a white background here, which if I drag onto another image, it's literally going to have that white square, and I want to be able to see through that for this particular copy. So let's jump straight into it. First things first, let's look at actually doing our variation of our logo. And as you can see, this one's color. I've got the L in yellow. We've got some sort of blue colors for the little castle here. And to do a variation, there are two ways that I kind of recommend doing this overall. There's many others as well. One is to duplicate our entire image. So you can go do this by going to image and then going down to duplicate. And this will say, hey, what do you want to name it as? If you don't give it a new name, it will just call it copy, and it will open up right here. So as you can see, I've got two exact copies of that document at that point. And then of course, once you've done that, you can make whatever changes you want. Now I'm going to delete that one I've just duplicated, and I'm going to do this all in the same document. Makes it a little bit easier to have everything in the one place. Now what I'm going to do is, at this point I've kind of got rid of any clutter, so anything I don't need, any background sketches or anything like that. I've just got it down to the bare essentials, the elements of the castle, that kind of stuff, and I'm going to put these into a group folder. I'm going to ignore the background at the moment, so the background is just that white panel, and you can see the checkered area behind that tells me this is a alpha or transparent background. So I'm going to shift and select up all of these layers here which make up my object, and then I'm going to put them into a group folder. And there's a little folder icon at the bottom of your layers panel, and if you click on that, that will throw it into a group. And you can double click on the name and you can call this color logo, for example, as a start. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate that group folder. It's got all my layers in there. If I use the drop down, you can either right click on this and go to duplicate group or duplicate, or you can drag that down to the little plus sign and that will duplicate as well. And I'm going to rename this one black and white or B&W, and I can also remove the word copy on that as well. So I've actually got two group folders here. As you can see, I can move one over the other, but what I'm going to do at this point is change the black and white one to black and white, because at the moment it's still color. So let's go to the drop down here. Here's my castle elements here, and I'm going to make sure that I select either the pen tool or the direct selection tool, so P, A, or U, while I have this selected over in the layers panel. And what this will do is it will bring up the options of fill and stroke that I have for this color, and there's the fill color right there. I'm going to click on that because I want to get this to a grayscale, and I could just reselect the color that I want, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try to get this as the correct value, so the correct light to darkness of this, and just remove the color on this. So I'm going to go to the color picker option up here. Here it is here. Here's my color picker, and I'm going to go to the HSB, and I'm looking at the H, and the H is for hue. The next one down is the saturation. So this is the amount of color that's being applied to this. So the higher the color, the higher the saturation. At the moment it's quite low, it's about 13%. I'm actually going to knock that down to 0. Now you can do this manually. You can just literally just grab where that marker is and drag it across to the left edge, and that will remove the saturation, and then you can simply hit OK, and there is the gray version of that. Let's do it with the next one. I'm going to select on that. Let's go to fill. Let's go to the color picker, and there it is again. I could drag that across to the middle. You can see it's about a 50% gray, or 46 to be precise, but I'm going to go S saturation. I'm going to go 0 and hit OK, and there it is there. Final one is the logo. There it is there. It's the alpha logo. Please note I've got the color logo still visible, so if I do hide something in there, you'll still see the one from behind there as well. If you want to get rid of that, you can just turn the visibility off of the color one for now. Anyway, back to the L. There it is there. And once again, I'm going to be changing the color of that. Now, one thing you might notice is I have these selection tools on, pen tool, all the rest of it, and the fill and the stroke color don't match the color on there. Quite simply, if you do look at this, you'll notice there's a big letter T here. This is still a text object. I haven't changed this to anything else, so I'm going to actually have to change this by going to the text key, or T. And I'm not going to retype it or anything like that. I'm just going to go to the color picker up here, and I can start scrolling through those and see if I can find a value, color value, sorry, a black and white value that works for me. And I'm probably going to go with, let's try full black. That could actually work. Maybe something like that. Or let's just drop it in pure white for now. And hit OK, and there we've got that variation in there. So there's my grayscale version. What I'm going to do now is actually turn off the background. And there's my background turned off. And we can see there's how my logo will appear without anything on the background. Go to the color one, likewise as well. So that background, I actually don't want that on or off. Now for exporting, let's do this in two parts. I'm going to go to File and Export. And then what you can do is go Quick Export as PNG. And this will give you the option of finding a location to save in this. I'm going to put this just on the desktop now because it's a good place for dumping things. And let's call this BNW logo 1.png. And let's press save. I'm going to turn the visibility of that one off and turn the color one on. Once again, the background is turned off so I can see that checkered pattern. Then go File, Export, Quick Export as PNG, and let's call this color logo 1.png and save. Let's see if we can find those. Here they are right here. And I'm actually going to open these back with the same Photoshop document. I'm just going to drag them in there. And what you'll actually see is that both of these do have their transparency on them. So if I do have an image or if I'm using this to place for a document that has a particular type of background that needs the logo to be transparent, and there we have it there, and that's pretty much it.